Can I ask you a question? I need you to be honest with me. How's life going right now? The odds are that right now there's a gap between your current self and the person that you want to become. And you know this. We also know that there are many people out there that are hitting their goals. Well, how does that work? In this video, I'll go through 3 of the most destructive traps that are preventing you from reaching your full potential. And if you can break these bad habits, avoid these traps, especially the 3rd one, your life can literally change today. You know those mornings that instantly go sideways? Maybe you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you can't get your kids to settle down, you spill coffee on your shirt, somebody cuts you off in traffic, and finally, you get to the office and the member of your team is called in sick, which doubles your workload for the day. You tell yourself, it's just going to be one of those days. Right then and there, you are essentially surrendering and giving up for the day. And we're allowing a bad morning to wipe out the entire day. Maybe you were planning to go to the gym after work, but you tell yourself you deserve a day off because it's been a tough day. Instead of cooking a healthy meal for dinner, you grab some fast food on the way home to treat yourself because you deserve it. Now, I used to struggle with this mindset a lot, but eventually I realized that I don't have the luxury of allowing the rest of my day to be a complete write-off just because my morning didn't go as I planned. With only 365 days in a year, imagine if you and I were to write off maybe 30 days a year because of a bad morning. That's an entire month out of the year where we're living in survival mode and making no progress. Now, we do need to recognize there are a lot of things that are outside of your control. You have no control over the coworker that called in sick or the traffic, but we can choose how we respond when life throws us a curveball. Tough mornings are going to happen, but when they do, find a way to push the reset button. Grab a fresh cup of coffee or tea, take a quick walk or get some fresh air. Take a look at the clock and tell yourself that you refuse to allow the rest of your day to be a write-off. Is it easy? Absolutely not, but it is definitely worth it. It's the start of marathon season where I live, and there is nothing better than sitting there scrolling through social media and seeing the post of an acquaintance that's just finished running their first marathon. Hold on a second. I had made a plan to run a marathon this year, and I've only been out for a handful of walks. I didn't really have a goal of running a marathon this year, but you get the idea. Or maybe you see someone get that big promotion at work. Maybe they start a new business, buy a fancy new car. It doesn't matter what it is. When you see someone achieve a goal that you've also set for yourself, it's pretty easy for jealousy to kick in. In moments like this, it's important to remind ourselves that everyone's living their own journey. There are no 2 people that will reach the same common goal at the same exact time. I love the analogy of how a rocket that is launched gets to the moon. You might think that the rocket scientist just pointed in the right direction and it stays on course the whole time. That is not at all what happens. The reality is that rocket takes off and the computer on board is constantly making adjustments. A couple of degrees to the left, a couple of degrees to the right, and over again until it finally reaches its destination. When we take off in the direction of our goals, it's no different. We get to make course corrections. So make the corrections that you need to make and stop looking at the progress of others as a discouragement. Use it as encouragement. If they can make that kind of progress over the last 5 months, what can you do with the next 6? Can I be honest with you? It's been a pretty stressful last few months. And let's just say that I haven't exactly been making my health the key focus that I intended it to be this year. If anything, it really felt like my physical health has taken a step backwards from where I was on January 1st. When we get stressed or dealing with feelings of being overwhelmed, it becomes incredibly easy to push things to the side and say that we will start them tomorrow. We pretend that starting tomorrow we will magically feel inspired, that we'll face no resistance, that you aren't going to start in a month or a year from now, you're going to start tomorrow. And it probably goes a little bit like this. Maybe you had a 30-minute run planned for today, but you had a stressful day, so you decide, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow. You check your calendar, you've got time, you check the weather app, yep, the weather looks great. You wake up the next day and you've got a bunch of meeting requests, a bunch of fires to put out, and the weather forecast has changed and now it's supposed to rain. And so tomorrow, it never comes. So what's the alternative? Do it now. There will never be a perfect time, so go with the imperfect time. Go with the imperfect place and just get started. I have to constantly remind myself that when I put something off until tomorrow, it may not feel like it has a huge impact in that present moment, but in reality, I'm doing damage to a future version of myself, and that damage is greater than I can possibly imagine in that moment. We know that one of the better options to help reduce stress is physical exercise. You know that if you have a project that you need to get done by the end of the week, that if you can actually get started today, you'll have a much better project at the end. Welcome to your call to action. You can change your life today if you want to. You know what to do, so let's go do it. I'll see you in the next video.